Welcome to Just the Two of Us Homestead. We are Colleen and Frank, and we live in the perfect size homestead just for us in southwestern Quebec. Gardening, growing food, and preserving is one of our passions. And our barn animals, we love them so much, they're just like pets. And we're so fortunate to be able to live our lives as we do. Each and every day is a blessing. So I've decided to pull at least most of the beets today because we're supposed to get the remnants of that barrel hurricane starting tonight and tomorrow. And if I'm stuck in the house all day tomorrow, it will give me the opportunity to either can beets or pickled beets. And I know a good majority of them are ready. Some are small or some aren't going to amount to anything at all. So I don't know if I'll just rip them all out or go through and pick out the ones that I want, because I do want to plant green beans here too. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. And I'm going to take my mic off because I huff and puff and moan and groan, and nobody needs to hear that. So I'm going to get going. I'm very excited. This is the first real harvest of anything other than a few zucchinis or cucumbers that we've done. So I'm very excited, and I can see some are looking really good and some are really little. Okay, I'm all done, and I'm very, very, very happy with what I have. Frank came and helped me, and we pulled them all from a 4x8 bed. I grew two different kinds. I think these are Detroit Red, and these were 2-year-old seed from Baker Creek. These ones I'm going to have to put on the screen because I don't remember the name. I think they're supposed to be striped inside, and it has a long name, and I don't remember where I got them, so I'll put it on the screen. But most of them are a really good size. There's some that are smaller, and there were a few that were like smaller that I won't even cut up. I'm going to make like just regular beets and pickled beets. So now I'm just going to sit here and just leave about 2 inches on the stem and dust off any excess dirt. And then I'm going to bring them in the house and weigh them. And that's already always the fun part. So we gave a bunch of the leaves to the chickens, and they don't seem to like them quite as much as like any of the brassica leaves. So these will all just be composted and used that way. I know a lot of people eat the beet leaves and put them in salads and that. It's not one of our favorite things, so we just put them in the compost and they'll be good for us that way. So there's finally a breeze. I'm going to sit here and cut these, and then tomorrow when it's going to rain all day, I have my very first official canning project of 2024. Hi everybody. Well, it's not the next day from the day of the storm with all that rain. I couldn't can that day because of the storm. Our power kept flickering on and off all day, and I didn't want to take a chance of the power going off while I had the pressure can running. So now we're the next day after that. So today I'm going to make pickled beets. Oh, I forgot to tell you how much the weight was. We ended up with 17 pounds, and I'm really happy with that because it wasn't even a complete 4x8 bed, because there's that giant flower bee balm there and another couple of square feet that had onions in it that didn't do anything. So I'm really happy. It's gonna give us some pickled beets, and I'm gonna do some just regular beets in a jar. So this is my first time making pickled beets, and we often eat the beets that I can just cold. Sometimes we warm them up, sometimes we cool them. So because it's my first time, I looked online for different recipes, and there's so many different variations, but I thought I would just go with the ball book. And they say 10 cups of prepared beets. Well, I had no idea what 10 cups is. They don't give you like in pounds. So I went and looked in my, I want to show you the cover, my Amish book. And this says, in the ball book, it says it makes about 7 pints. In the Amish book, their recipe says it makes about 8 pints, and they give a measurement of 7 pounds. So I put about 8 to 9 pounds in here. I'd rather be over than under. And I'm not going to use their recipe because it's a sweet recipe. I'm going to go with more like a vinegar tasting one to start. So I have closer to 9 pounds maybe, and I'm going to wash them all. I have a very clean sink. I just filled it up with cold water. I'm going to give them a good wash. We're going to cook them on the stove first, and then put them in cold water, and then peel them after. You never peel your beets before. And in case you're wondering, I do have very clean hands, but I played with the tomatoes, and I have tomato tar really bad in my nails. I've been using alcohol on my clippers, and the alcohol with the tomato tar almost makes like a tattoo ink in my nails, and I can't get it off. So my hands are clean. So we're gonna head over to the sink. I'm just gonna wash them. I'll just show you that briefly. I'm gonna cook them until they're tender, and then I'll prepare the brine. Then we'll just pickle them. I'm excited because it's my very first time. And I used to eat them all the time when I was a kid, pickled beets, and Frank grew up with them too. So I don't know why I've never done this before, because my mom always served pickled beets with Sunday dinner for some reason. So let's get to the sink and we'll start washing these. I picked mostly the medium-sized ones. I don't know why, I just picked these ones. But I want them all to cook at kind of at the same time, obviously. So some are a little bit bigger than the others, so the bigger ones I'm gonna put at the bottom of the pot so they cook a little bit faster than the smaller ones I'll put on top. And I think I'm gonna do it in 2 pots because this is a lot of beets. Well, it looks like a lot, but then you take off the top. So I'm gonna put bigger ones on the bottom, and then the other ones that are more uniform on top. I probably could even done this in 3 pots, but I'll just do it in the 2. Now these are going to take quite a while to come to a boil. also, when I said I couldn't do it during the storm, obviously I have an electric stove. If I had a gas stove, it wouldn't have been a problem. So I'm gonna cover these to get them going to boil. And then I'll just check them. It's gonna take quite a while, and then I'll check them with a fork and make sure they're tender. I do not want, even for pickles, I don't want them hard. So I'll bring you back when they're done, and then the fun starts with the peeling. But Frank said he'd help me, so I'll see you in a bit. Okay, one of the pots is ready for sure. So I'm just going to soak them in cold water or ice water, but I don't have ice, so I'll just keep changing the water. Whew. And the other one's just about done. I just recorded a whole bunch without the camera on, so I started without you. And I'm sorry, but I had to put on an old t-shirt. I don't even want to put my apron on right now because if I get stains on it, they're there for life. So I'd rather just have an old t-shirt on. And the other thing is, I don't know if I had my mic working at the very beginning. So if it's echoey, I'm very sorry. And I just discovered, and I don't know why, but I only do beets every 2 years because I usually do enough to get us through for every 2 years. And then it allows me to grow different things in the garden in between. But I don't remember it being this easy. Like, it's literally coming off in one little swoosh of my fingers. So Frank has gone out to cut the grass. And from all that rain and all the heat, look, the slippery little suckers, all that heat and humidity we've had, if he's willing to go out and cut the grass, and it takes a while, I can handle peeling a few beets, especially if they're this easy. So he's gone to do that. And like, look, I just have to go like this and the whole thing comes off. So I'm not going to cut them until they're all peeled, but I don't ever remember it being this simple. I must have done, maybe I literally paid attention to the directions this time, or because they're so fresh, I don't know, but like they just peel that quickly. Oh my goodness, this is wonderful. Like it just comes right off, like done. Some of them are almost peeled before I put them in my hand. I have them all peeled, but before I slice them up, I want to get the brine going. So I'm supposed to take 3 tablespoons of my pickling spice in a little thing of cheesecloth. I don't know how big to make this. And then just pour water, sugar, and vinegar Do you know that I had everything set up and now I can't find anything? There it is. So 3 tablespoons. Yep. 1. Oh, maybe it should have been bigger. 2, 3. Oh, I guess it's okay. We need 2.5 cups of white vinegar. And 1 cup of water. Perfect. And 1 cup of sugar. I'm using organic, but any sugar will do. And then we're going to bring this to a boil on the stove, put in our little pickle blend, and let it simmer for 20 minutes. I also have my canner getting on my water bath canner going as well. And my jars are hot in the dishwasher. So now I'm going to cut them up, and then I'll give them another rinse off because there's still remnants of, or should I do that first while they're whole? I think I'll do that first. So I purposely picked the 2 different colors because I thought it would look pretty in the jars. And when I harvested them, I told you I had the 2 different seeds that I would put up on the screen. And the reason, I guess some of them I'm going to have to cut which way? Because these ones, I didn't think they'd go as light as they did. But see the nice rings inside? I thought they'd stay a bit darker, but I didn't plan on planting 2-year-old beet seeds, but I'm glad I kept them. Those are the ones from Baker Creek, because the ones, so all of these are from Baker Creek, these striped ones and the Detroit red dark ones, because the other variety I planted didn't germinate at all, and that was from M.I. Gardner. So either I got very unlucky with all his seeds this year, or I don't know, because it seems just about anything I planted from him this year did not work out. Look how nice that is. Is that a beautiful beet? So I think the contrast in the jars will look really nice. Or it just occurred to me, probably when they're canned, all the dark red is going to overpower these pretty ones, the light ones. Maybe I should can them separate. Anyway, I'll continue cutting, and we'll see how many we actually get. If I had read ahead properly, I'm supposed to add the beets to the brine. So now I'll put it back in a bigger pot and I'll add the beets back in, because to me that's the smallest amount of brine I've ever seen. How am I going to do this without spilling it all? Because then it says when you're filling your jars to use the excess brine to top up once you debubble. Well, there's hardly any liquid. So I don't know. So I'm going to just warm this up. And then I can start filling the jars. It's easier to do it this way, like when you're filling the jars, but all right, I'll just let that warm up. All right, now it's ready. So my plan didn't really work out then of separating the two colors, but you can still see the difference in them. So you'll see in a sec. So it says with a slotted spoon to fill to a generous 1/2 inch headspace. See, I still think the two colors are pretty, except it's hard to... There we go. So I think I'm going to fill them all because then you have to go back in and top them up. And Frank tasted the light beet, the striped one, and he said it was delicious. So maybe that's the new beet we'll go to from now on. So I got 7 jars out of it, but I probably weighed more out than I needed because this recipe didn't call for a weight measurement. It just said 10 cups. So I'm going to keep one aside because maybe once I do the debubbling, I can get more in a jar. And I can't find my chopstick. And when it's something like this, I prefer something long and narrow to debubble, but I can't find it. So we'll use my regular thing. Okay, and now it says to backfill to a generous 1/2 inch. And you probably can't even see that. clean my rim. Vinegar. It's hot. My jars are hot. My ingredients are hot. My canner's hot. I'm putting on a clean new lid. And the band, fingertip tight. And I'll put it in the canner in just a second. So I ended up with 6 jars, exactly like they said. And I feel I overweighed what was supposed to be. And I measured out 7 originally, but as I debubbled, I used what I had in the 7th jar, and that's what's left. So we'll just eat those like that. So I'll put them in the canner. And they take 30 minutes to water bath. And what I did, I'm never sure if Pickle Crisp really works or not. So I took a marker, I put it in 3 jars, and I put a marker and I just put a dot on 3 of the jars to see if it actually makes a difference. I don't make enough, like a lot of pickles or whatever, to really notice a difference, but I wanted to see if it would in this, because I cooked them just till they were tender, and now they're going to go through this process too. So I want to see if it's going to make a difference in keeping them firmer, I guess. Okay, so when that comes to a boil, I'm going to set the timer for 30 minutes. So here are my 6 beautiful pints of pickles. And the light ones show, I'm hoping maybe when it settles down, they'll show a bit better. But it really doesn't matter because Frank tasted them hot and he already liked the flavor. So I'm hoping when they're cold, it's even better. And 6 pints isn't going to get us very far. This was more or less just to see if he liked the flavor or both of us. And this is our new favorite beet. It's Chioggia. That's the one with the stripes. That's the one from Baker Creek. This is the one that didn't germinate at all from M.I. Gardner. It's Ruby Queen beet. And I remember the day I planted the beets, Frank was doing something else in the garden. And I said to him, this pack, because I do square foot gardening, I know how far the seeds go. And I said, this package only did 4 squares. And I remember this package did 9. And I think they're only, I know all his seeds are generally $2. It says an average seed count of 100. Either there was way less or And I know I never put more than 1 to 2 seeds, mainly 2, but still. And this package did 9 square feet. So when those ones didn't germinate, I went back with my 2-year-old Baker Creek Detroit Red, and that's what gave me all the red ones here. So the Ruby Queen did nothing. And I think from now on, I'm going to order just these ones because we really liked them. So all this to say that it's my long beet story, but I wish I'd grown more now. And I don't know if I have room. It's not the time. I don't think I have room to do another growing, but I'll see if I can figure something out. Oh, the other thing is, I know a lot of people clean up as when they come back and they show you all their nice jars and that, but this is real life and I just didn't get to it right now. So pardon the mess. I'll do it later, and before supper or as I'm cooking, I'll clean up this mess, but this is real life. I'm not going to run around and pretend to show you a perfect kitchen when it's not always going to be that way. So I got this done, and that's already a good thing for today. I want to go outside and spend a little bit of time with Frank and the chickens before the day is done. So that's my priority. So thank you for spending time with me today. And until we're together again, take care.